Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is BlueMaxima and this is Pinball Heroes Complete. You may be wondering, I've heard that name before, haven't I? Well, you probably have. Because this is a collection of 8 pinball tables that were originally released on the PSP, except now it's a full collection on the Vita. I'm not really sure what to think about this, to be honest, because it's okay, but it feels like it could have had just a little bit more effort put into it. But without saying any more, let's actually get into something. But I want to point something out. So let's say I go to High Velocity Bowling. This is a 2D game and for some reason has load times. Look at the start. Look at the start button. See, it actually had to load some shit in before you play a table. Well, let's play a table. So, the first thing that I've really noticed about this game is that the graphics, you can tell that they've at least tried to up-res them, but they're really undefined. I think that's the word I'm looking for. I really can't be sure, but I mean, if you look really closely at the graphics, you can tell that they're like upscaled from the PSP version. They haven't had any real extra work put into them. And I'm not sure how much of a fan I am of that. I mean, like, it looks okay, but you know, it would have been better if they had some more defined Vita level graphics. That's just, but that's just my opinion. I mean, like, they look fine as they are, but I mean, it's not optimal, especially on the Vita screen. And so anyway, this is High Velocity Bowling, one of the 8 tables included. Most of the tables are actually based on a specific franchise. Like, there's a Fat Princess table, a Motorstorm table, a Mod Nation Racers table, a Hot Shots Golf table, Uncharted, you get the idea. Anyway, I'll just explain that. Up at the top right there, you saw Eat a Greasy Burger. This game has a bunch of medals, which are just like goals in, what's it called? Pinball Arcade. But they're not as interesting. Like, so you get a strike, get a spare ball, start bowling. Eat a greasy burger, eat some extra fries, get bonus multiplier. Because most of the goals are just, like, continually scaling upwards. So, like, 10,000 points, 60,000 points, 100,000 points, etc., etc., etc. A lot of the goals are like that. I'm not sure how much of a fan I am of that. Anyway, you do have, leaderboards. Like, for some reason, this only has 117,000 entries, and I could actually be on that in a relatively high position, because my last score was 75k, but oh. Well, okay, never mind. But you get the idea. So I'm just going to play a little bit more. Another problem I have with these tables is some of them, and by some of them I mean most of them, play okay and have interesting mechanics, but they feel almost dead. Like, maybe I'm getting too used to Pinball Arcade or Zen Pinball 2, or maybe even something like Pinball Fantasies. Because I really do quite enjoy Pinball Fantasies and Pinball Dreams. And if you don't know what Pinball Fantasies and Dreams are, they're games that were made by DICE before they started making, Battlefield and all those other games that they did, which are all just Battlefield games. But yeah, I enjoy Pinball Dreams and Fantasies because they feel like they have a lot more going on in them than they should. It's weird. Because, I mean, like, they have really good music, and they have, lots of mechanics that keep you engaged, and in these tables, you tend not to have them. You only tend to have some, like, 1 or 2 things that are off the beaten path, except for a couple of tables. Like, there are a couple of tables, like, the Fat Princess table. And I really like the Fat Princess table. Because, it has a lot of different little things you can do in it. It reminds me a lot of Medieval Madness. And High Velocity Bowling, I admit I've got a bit of a soft spot for as well, because I mean, like, I like the idea of like the bowling, but there's something like oh yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. But something like Hot Shots Golf honestly feels like a dead table because barely anything happens in it. It's really strange. I'll show off the Hot Shots Golf table after I basically lose on this one, because I mean, it feels really, really strange. I'll probably just quit this table in a minute, because I'm pretty sure you've seen all you need to determine how okay this table is. I mean, like, it's a decent table. I like its design and all that. But then again, there are tables like, I'll actually, yeah, I think I'm done here, but I'll quit the game. I'll just go have a look at the options real quick. You can use 2 flippers at once to launch. That's really cool. An auto screen rotate, as you can see. And you use the touchscreen and the analog stick to do the nudging and the launching. You can also do rear touchpad nudging, but I've already got that turned off because I don't like it. Let's go and have a look at Hot Shots Golf. As you can see, it really does take a fair amount of time for 2D elements to load. I'm not sure what the deal is. But let's just start. Alright, so yeah, basically it's just this. Like, so it really doesn't feel like there's much happening on this table. Like, there isn't that many mechanics outside of basically hitting it in that target on the left to get loyalty and me fucking up massively. But it's an okay table. I mean, like, I like the idea of the golf, actually, you know, going and hitting it in the hole and all that. But there's not much else to this table, and a fair few of these tables tend to be like that. Like, and I'll go play the Wipeout table, because I have to admit, the Wipeout table is a bit strange. And yeah, you can get, like, par, and there are, like, 9 holes, I think, at least. Yeah, this table just really doesn't feel like it has much going for it. And a fair few of these tables have a complete lack of music. I don't understand what the deal is with that. It's weird. Like, Fat Princess. One of my favourite tables in this thing, because, I do quite enjoy high velocity bowling and Fat Princess a lot on this. But this has no music whatsoever. I don't understand what the deal is. I mean, like, why not have music on all of them? I mean, like, I'm a pretty big digital pinball fan, I have to admit, and god damn it. And also, I'm gonna have to talk about, something else, aren't I? Yeah, these, the physics in this game can be really, really strange. Like, I've seen a ball move, like, several pixels to the right just to fit up a ramp instead of, like, bouncing back down. And it was, like, really noticeable. I'm really surprised at how, strange the physics can be. But I mean, yeah, I think you've seen enough, because that's pretty much all there is to this table. Some of the tables are really, really small, really lacking in more than one interesting mechanic. Like, let's play, I didn't mean to do that. If you use the directional pad to the left and right, you load another table. So if your finger slips on the analog stick even a little bit, you'll load another table by mistake. That annoys me.
Welcome to Wipeout HD. Track selected.
So yeah, this is Wipeout HD.
Energy critical.
And it's not very interesting, to be honest. Bollocks! Come on. You can't, like, hold buttons to skip the end of ball bonus like you can in Pinball Arcade or Pinball Fantasies. And that honestly really annoys me. It's the smallest of things, but it really does annoy me. I mean, the ball physics are okay, but sometimes they just act really weird and it annoys the crap out of me. So yeah, the main gimmick of this game is basically racing, but to be honest, I've got no idea how I should be following it. But I mean, this table is honestly, like, really boring. A boring layout, I should say. It may be interesting to somebody, but the layout is just strange. I mean, like, it's just a bunch of ramps and a couple of hit targets up top. It's nothing like Medieval Madness, where that table is absolutely clogged with cool stuff. There's just it just feels like not the most interesting table. Also, there's no music. Like, I mean, this game Wipeout is a game that has awesome music, and this game doesn't have any, and this pinball table based on it doesn't have any music whatsoever. I am really confused by that. I honestly don't understand why. Let's go and have a look at Fat Princess. Because this is actually a really cool table for what it's worth.
The princess has been kidnapped.
In this table, you have to build resources, and then you use them to like build upgrades to these buildings up the top here. Like, see, they're going through that a couple of going through the that chopped wood thing a few times gives you resources, and there's also like little rocks up the top you can hit to get more resources, and eventually you build your way to the very top of the using all the resources you get, you build your way all the way to the top of this little area, and then you can go up to the top to earn more points. Like, see, there's this little top area up here too, and there's all sorts of little things, and it's just this little sort of, all this extra little stuff it has on top. It really beats out like Wipeout HD Fury and Hot Shots Golf, because those two are really simple tables. And I mean, if you've ever played I mean, like, simplistic tables can be good, don't get me wrong. Big Shot on Pinball Arcade, huge fan of that. But sometimes it's really easy to get simplistic wrong, and sometimes it's just really hard to enjoy it. And if you build that bridge, it gives you like a little bit of a shortcut up to the second floor, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, this has got like silly little sound effects for everything. This has got like it's got a good soundtrack backing to it, and it just feels more atmospheric compared to Hot Shots Golf or Wipeout HD. I don't know if it's because some of the tables were developed later and they basically got to grips on developing pinball games, but I don't really know, since these games did come out on PSP first, and like they were released in 2 bundles of 4. I'm thinking maybe that they might have released a second bundle when they had more of a grip on how to do a pinball game. Yeah, that basically didn't go very well for me, did it? Well, I've played a fair few of these. Mod Nation Races I don't want to do, because that... Actually, yeah, I'll do it, because I'll show what I mean. Takes a really long time to load resources on this one table for some reason. So as you can see, this table, I think this table's actually kind of boring as well, because it's just a bunch of ramps, really. I mean, sure, there's a couple of things up there, but it's just, the table isn't very pleasing to the eye. I mean, like, they could have up-resed the graphics a little bit and it might have helped, but it could have done with, like, a graphical redesign. And it's just, damn it. This table just isn't really that pleasing to the eye, as I just said. And it just doesn't feel like there's much to it. Not to mention those ramps are really hard to get up even on a good day. But it's... I'm not going to fault them for trying, because, you know, I can see where they were going, and it is really hard to turn established game franchises into pinball tables. Because it really takes a few, it really takes a lot of effort. And I do admit that they did at least try. I'll give them that. So anyway, that was a look at Pinball Heroes. I won't bother playing the other tables because, well, I'll give you quick opinions. Pain Downtown, it's okay, but there's like a really wide gap in between the flippers for some reason, so it's really easy to lose your ball. Uncharted, Motorstorm is a little bit dull, but you know, it's an okay table. I'll play Uncharted just to finish off the video. I mean, you've got your highest scoreboards, and it really does feel like a good redesign of what Pinball Heroes is. But I just wish they went a little bit further, like making the graphics better, or making the or redesigning some of the tables altogether, so they might actually have a so they excuse me for stuttering. So they might appear more interesting, or appear or actually be more interesting, I should say. I mean, this table's alright. I've got this one weird problem, though. I know this is weird to bring it up right now, but if you, back in Pinball Heroes on PSP, this is what I wanted to say. There was this feature where you could, press a button and it would show, like, more of the table on the screen. So, like, instead of being stretched all the way across the screen, it would, like, shrink down to half the size. And, strangely enough, this version of the game doesn't have that feature. The only way you can do that is by turning it up on its side. And strangely enough, the L and R buttons still work. And I don't know why that's missing, because I would really like that feature, because I have pretty slow reflexes, and it would be nice to know when the ball's about to go out, so I've got a better chance of being able to nudge the ball out of the way. But that, admittedly, that's a little bit of a nitpick, but, you know, I do quite enjoy, pinball games that give me actual time to react, because I'm not really that quick-witted. Wait until you see me play the Killzone Mercenary Beater. This is an okay table, I will admit. But yeah, my opinion is some of the tables are good. Like, Uncharted isn't that bad. I really have a soft spot for high-velocity bowling, and Fat Princess is pretty enjoyable. And to be fair, this game's only $6, and you might actually enjoy the tables even if they are a little bit bland. So, I don't know, I guess I might leave that up to you. I mean, you've seen a fair few of the tables in this game, like, right now. I'll only post this locally because that was a horrible score. But, yeah, you've seen, like, 6 of the 8 tables on this video. Or 5 out of 6? 5? I don't know. But, yeah, you've seen what the game's like. It's got online leaderboards. It's a fair redesign. It's got some stuff going for it, but it does have, not the best graphics, and some of the tables are a little bit dull, and, yeah, you get the idea, but again, I'll leave it up to you. This game's $6, and if you think it's worth it, then go ahead and buy it. Because, I mean, you know, if you're a fan of digital pinball, there's actually a lot of choices. But, you know what? Just for the hell of it, I'm going to play one of my personal favorites. Pinball Fantasies was made by DICE, and this is the remastered PS Mini version. I'm going to play one of my favorite tables. Because I'm pretty sure. This is $1 Billion Game Show. So yeah, this was made like back in the 80s, back when the Amiga was a big thing. If you remember when the Amiga was a big thing, I Want to Live Your Life, because I really want to actually play around on the old computers. Like, I do nothing but emulate some games sometimes, and I really enjoy myself for some reason. But anyway, this is a 1980s pinball game that's been relatively redesigned. And you can press select and get a more full view of the table by turning it to the side. And it's fun. I quite enjoy these sorts of bollocks. I quite enjoy this sort of tables more than the, like, Wipeout HD or Mod Nation Races, because they just have a little bit more going in them. Like, it's got good music, the colors are nice and colorful. I mean, like, this is pretty old music, but, you know, it's still got a certain charm to it. But the thing is, with Pinball Heroes... Oh, that's enough of that. With Pinball Heroes only being $6, I can recommend it. Just don't expect to be spending too much time on specific tables unless, you know, you found them pretty interesting. Well, I'm pretty sure I've got my opinion out in the most stuttering way possible. This has been BlueMaxima and Pinball Heroes Complete. Is it worth buying? I'll leave that up to you. And I'll see you all next time.